This is Radar for On the Radar Entertainment Blog with another weekly baseball observation. So we're now past the All-Star game, so we're technically in the second half of the season. The Cubs are continuing to bat Kyle Schwarber leadoff since they don't have a real leadoff hitter, and they continue to play Chris Bryant, not in right field, but in left field some days to give Schwarber the day off. But then there are some days where they still put Bryant in right field, and they play Hayward in center field, which again, there's no need. The cargo experiment failed. You just need to go with what you have right now, which is Albert Amora every day in center field. Unless you're going to miraculously call up Ian Happ to play the outfield, or Ben Zobrist is going to come back and play right field miraculously, then no, you're not continuing to play the Hayward in center field. Bryant in left field, maybe if you're giving Schwarber the day off, but not. Bryant should not be playing the outfield. No offense to David Bodie, and then to the Cubs, they should play Addison Russell every day at second base at least. They're not going to play him at shortstop, play him at second base every day, and get his trade value up. Because if you can't trade him at the deadline for, a good relief pitcher or a good starting pitcher or a good center fielder, then you can just wait until you get to the off season. And if he played well enough in the second half, Gold Glove wise, he's getting enough hits and he's competent enough as an offensive player, then that's what you do. You go, okay, Russell played well in the second half, we can flip him, like we did with Starlin Castro when we moved him to second base. Now the Phillies, they decided, they're going to continue to play Kingery leading off and playing center field. It's like the fact that Roman Quinn's back and Halsey's back, so they have enough guys on the roster between Halsey and Roman Quinn who can play center field. But it's just like they want to probably go with the best offensive lineup, and they love Kingery. It was before he even started his major league career. They gave him that huge extension, and he kind of took the shortstop job away from J.P. Crawford last year. He's then played third base for Franco instead. So instead of him being a very good utility player or Martin Gonzalez who plays different positions every day and you just move him around, they're continuing basically play him in center field and lead him off every day and not use the two center fielders they have. And plus the fact that Roman Quinn has got speed, he could be a leadoff hitter. And someday they've gone back to the Cesar Hernandez leadoff hitter. Cesar Hernandez is a contact hitter. Yeah, he's good. He gets on base. But you have Gene Segura who's done it before, so I don't understand that as well. Now the Nationals, instead of batting Adam Eaton leadoff, they're continuing him batting second. If that's what they're going to do this year, then they continue to do that. And the Yankees are continuing to bat DJ LeMahieu leadoff, except for some days I've seen Brett Gardner leadoff. And then some days he's playing first base or third base, DJ LeMahieu, and barely playing any second, and Judge is batting second. If it ain't broke, don't fix it. If you're going to keep DJ LeMahieu in the leadoff spot, fine. But there's no need for Judge to bat second. You want your third and fourth hitters to be Judge and Edwin Encarnacion, and then you want your number 5 hitter to be Gary Sanchez, and then I think you want Gleyber Torres to bat 6th and Didi Gregorius to bat 7th. Okay, and then what about Aaron Hicks? Aaron Hicks is not so amazing offensively. He's going to hit 30 home runs that he has to bat higher than 7th in the lineup, okay? This is what I'm saying. And then you're forgetting about Luke Voigt. See, that's the thing. The Yankees are going to figure out a way that Aaron Hicks, Didi Gregorius, and Gleyber Torres, they're not even the best hitters in your lineup, so you could bat them, some of those guys 8th or 9th, because you got Luke Voigt, Gary Sanchez, and Edwin Encarnacion, and Stanton's going to come back. Now the Jays, no reason to DH Sogard. Now that Roddy Tillis is down in AAA, it's only Smoke, Guerrero, and Drury that should DH. So you can get one of those 3 guys to bat every day, and if you DH Smoke, Drury should be able to play first base, so his defense is not an issue if you're playing him in the outfield. And then I've seen Eric Sogard play the outfield too. Oh my God. What are you doing? You have Billy McKinney and Teoscar Hernandez and Randall Grichuk, and you have so many other outfielders on your team. There's no need to play Eric Sogard in the outfield. If you're going to play him, you play him at second base because you haven't played Richard Urena or you haven't played Gurriel there because Gurriel's playing the outfield too, which is silly. And Randall Grichuk some days still playing center field. Again, silly. And then the Orioles, they have to at one point in the week play Mancini in right field or bat him second and play Anthony Santander in center field. And now that you got Kean Broxton, you have Dwight Smith Jr., and even Wilkerson, there's no need for the Santander to be in center field, and you have so many outfielders, there's no need to play Trey Mancini in the outfield. You should play by first base and DH as many days as possible. Rio Ruiz and Nunez and Chris Davis, one's got an immovable contract, and the other 2 are the rejects from other team that nobody at the deadline is looking to trade for, nobody in the offseason is looking to trade for, and you're not going anywhere, so those are good pieces to have, guys from other teams who have potential. That's what I'm trying to say. So it hurts Man City's value to bat him in the wrong spots in the lineup and to play him in the outfield. Now the Marlins, they're continuing to play the Rojas Rivera guy, it's just a waste. Okay, if you wanted to play Neil Walker as much as possible, then you play him at first base or second base to get up his trade value and play Starlin Castro shortstop just to get trade values up. There's no need to play JT Riddle in center field. He's not a center fielder, and there's no way to play. No need to play Brian Anderson in right field. These guys don't give you the most value in the outfield. They give you the most value at their actual position. Now the Indians, Jake Bauers, no need to play the outfield. It's just a waste of time. I know their outfield hasn't been that great offensively, and Lindor should not be batting leadoff, but that's here or there. He's still one of the best hitters in the league. And then Marlon Gonzalez, stop playing him in right field and left field. He's not an outfielder. Miguel Sano has not played first base when CJ Cron's injured. Now Cron's back. That's fine. Then there's no need to play Brandon Belt in left field because Pablo Sandoval and Tyler Austin are backups. And at the same time, there's no need to have Brandon Belt or Posey 1 and 2. You have so many other guys that have speed or contact ability. Their guys should be bad in the middle of the lineup. Now the Diamondbacks, Gerard Destin's probably your best bet in center field. So Ketel Marte, even though Wilmer Flores is back, and they've been playing Eduardo Escobar second base to get Jake Lamb and Christian Walker's bat in the lineup. Ketel Marte, as much as I like him, he's a great talented player. Center field is a little bit too much of a big entire thing to play center field. It's playing him in left field would be a better idea, and Adam Jones is content to playing right field, and that's fine, but I wanted him in center field. Then you got the Tigers that they've decided, we'll put Nick Casano back second. Just keep him third or fourth. What are you doing? And the Mariners, there's no need to take Omar Narvaez. You wasted your opportunity with Mac Williamson in left field. Okay? So if Daniel Vogelbach's playing first base and you got this Nola guy playing first base or catcher at DH, that's fine. Especially if Ryan Healy comes back or Mitch Haniger come back, you're going to have more options at the DH spot as well. And then the Mariners continue to do the openers, man. You got enough starting pitchers in Gonzalez and Wade LeBlanc and Ty Malone and Mike Leake. There's no purpose to have openers. You're not the Rays, who have talented pitchers who can play 2 or 3 innings, maybe 4. And then Dylan Moore opened the year as their backup infielder number 1. He's playing a lot of the outfield. Maybe if you have an issue in the outfield, you move D. Gordon back to the outfield, but not in center field. You put him in left field, and maybe he can handle it. Or you sign Malik Smith to left field, and then you can play Beckham every day at second base to get his trade value back up, or you call up Shed Long and you play him at second base. It's another option. The Angels, now that Mike Trout's still batting second and Simmons batting cleanup, should be swapped. Trevor Cale pitching out of the bullpen when they don't have enough starting pitchers. It was a very sad thing they lost Tyler Skaggs, but even before Tyler Skaggs passed away, it was basically Andrew Heaney and Tyler Skaggs with Matt Harvey being injured and Trevor Cale also missing some time. They didn't really have a rotation, so there's no need to put Cale in the bullpen. And then the Braves continue to bat Ronald Acuna in the leadoff spot and play him in center field. Now the good news is Ender Inciarte is back, so they'll at least get some stability with a multiple Gold Glove winner in the outfield and a steady guy in right field, Nick Markakis. So Acuna, as talented he is at playing in left field, he could probably be like Yoenis Cespedes in left field, or those guys who play left field, and you go, maybe they're there because they're bad defensively. Then you turn out, they're actually pretty good at playing left field. But Inciarte's back. He should be batting leadoff, but that's another point. It's only been 1 day. Now the Rays, I do understand the Jacob Faria, Jalen Beeks in the bullpen, especially with Tyler Glasnow out. You only have 2 real starting pitchers, but them and their openers things is just weird. And then they have Darno batting leadoff a bunch of days when he doesn't have the ability. He's not a leadoff hitter, nor should he be playing first base if you have one of the Lowe brothers or you have Yanni Diaz in the roster. And then Moncada, the Sox still bat him second. I know Tim Anderson's out, but when Tim Anderson comes back, Moncada should be batting third. Because if, let's say, Moncada's batting third, and Eloy, when he comes back, he's batting fifth, then at the same time, you have Jose Abreu, who has all that protection in the lineup. Now then, the Cardinals, when Matt Carpenter was healthy, he was batting leadoff, but there's no purpose to batting Matt Carpenter leadoff when you have all these guys that have the speed that can do it. And then the Red Sox, there's only play Christian Vasquez at first base. I know you're missing your 2 guys who can play first base, but you have Michael Chavis who can play first base, and you have Holt and Hernandez second base, even with Robert Nunez off the roster. Now the Rockies continue to play David Dahl in center field when Ian Desmond doesn't play. Charlie Blackmon played center field for many years, and Raimel Tapia is a center fielder. At the same time, also, there's no need to play Tony Walter second base. But you got all these infielders on your active roster that can play second base, plus your starting first baseman and Daniel Murphy. I don't know why they don't play him there more often. The Reds, there was no need to play Kyle Farmer at second base at the beginning of the game or late in the game, especially with Scooter Gennett back, you having Derek Dietrich on your roster, and you have Jose Peraza on your roster, and Nick Senzel. There's no purpose for that. And of course, with their starting catcher out, Tucker Barnhart, and Kirk Casale getting hurt, and now Kyle Farmer himself getting hurt with a concussion, they're desperate at catcher. But again, Kyle Farmer's your third string catcher. The only other position he's playing besides catcher is first base. Now the Rangers, Joey Gallo back in center field a couple of days a week. They have 4 to 5 guys who has the ability to play center field, and Ronald Guzman is not lighting the league on fire. Nor is Norman Mazar in right field, so Gallo playing a quarter outfield spot or first base is really what he should be doing. And the Padres, instead of embarrassing Will Myers in the field, they've embarrassed Hunter Renfroe in center field. I know is probably not going to bat for a while. Jankowski's out, and they got rid of Dickerson, but just continue playing Manuel Margot in center field. It's not going to kill you, especially because you're batting him at the bottom of the lineup. Now, the Astros, on a shift late in the game, have played Altuve at shortstop. I think they have enough people, including Bregman, that can play shortstop. You shouldn't see that. And the Dodgers, again, I know A.J. Pollock's back, and Bellinger's playing amazing this year, even as a corner outfielder. And you have Alex Verdugo playing great because Pollock was injured. But there is no need to play Jock Peterson at first base if you have a guy named Beatty in your roster, a guy named David Freese in your roster, and a guy named Max Muncy who's been playing some second base. Play those guys at first base, or just take Bellinger completely out of the outfield and play Verdugo in right field and play Pollock in center and Peterson in left. There's no need to play Jock at first base. It's telling us shortstop, even though we've seen you play good shortstop, we're gonna make you a first baseman. He's like, what? What are you doing? That's so stupid. And then the Brewers, they have Ben Gamble and Eric Thames. No need to play Tyler Saladino in the outfield whatsoever. And then the A's, there are days where Chad Pinder and Mark Canha are both playing the outfield, or they're playing Franklin Barreto or Jerison Profile, else places. Doesn't make any sense. Now that was another weekly baseball observations from Radar for On the Radar Entertainment Blog. See you next week.